What's up, everybody? Back for another Honkai Star Rail video, and we're going to talk about a actually big update for free-to-play players. Now, this is going to be involving summoning, so if you are not summoning and you're skipping for Day or Trivy, this kind of won't apply to you because you actually do have to summon to get these benefits. But I do think that this next part 2, or phase 2, whatever you want to call it, for 3.0 is going to be very big for free-to-play players, and that's for two reasons. First reason is going to be Robin. A lot of people know this, and unfortunately, we are playing Honkai support rail. That's just how it is, right? Robin is still the best support in the game. Now, do note, Tribby is coming out, luckily, right? Even though she is a Harmony character, and she could power creep Robin, could power creep Renee, could power creep whoever, insert whatever Harmony character, right? You'll know her full kit before Robin leaves. So if Tribby ends up being better than Robin, you can just summon for Robin. Or sorry, just summon for Tribby. And if Robin ends up being better, you can just summon for Robin, right? You'll know her full details before the banner goes away. That is why it's huge. Newer players who do not have a really good support character are going to be loving right now, especially if you have enough currency to summon, obviously, right? So that's one big reason, right? Now, the second big reason, also, I guess, Tingyan and Hanya are on the banner, right? Which you can use for your second team. Hanya is pretty solid. Shout out to you know, auto translation. Anyway, Tingyan is a really good support. Hanya is a decent support. You can run those on the team that is not using Robin. You probably get some decent results, right? But whereas that, the main W that I recommend everybody who does not own this light cone tries to get it. So a multi or two in hope, right? And that is the 4-star light cone DDD. Now, subscribe for more is like an okay hunt light cone. Actually, I think it might actually not be that good if it's what I'm thinking of, right? Genius's Greetings is a remembrance light cone. I believe the free-to-play one from the Herda store is better. I believe this is the attack percent one, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless, DDD is probably the highest value light cone in the game. And if I had to rank like the best light cones for free-to-plays to acquire, I'd probably do something like this. It would be the two free ones from the Herda store, the Hunt and Destruction one, Pearls, and DDD, right? Obviously, there's probably some other ones that are up here as well, but these are the main four that I think about when I think, okay, if I'm going to do a free-to-play friendly run, I'm using these four because I think all players should advocate for going for these icons. Two of them are free, and two of them are 4-star summonals, right? DDD being the best out of the group, right? Now, unfortunately, the light cones they're paired with are not crazy, right? Aga's light cone is unfortunately locked to Remembrance characters, meaning her and RMC, right? And it is a DPS based one, so you're probably not going to be running an RMC. So that one has not the craziest value unless you're already going for her. Next up is going to be Silver Wolves, which is okay, right? I guess Nihility, but Nihility kind of has a lot of good options like Pearls or Good Night Sleep Well. So it's just like whatever, right? Boot Hills is a hunt break light cone, which you could use on like Sushang in March 7th, I guess, but like, it's not a universal one. And then there's Robin's, which is probably going to be the most universal of them all, but it still is more so for Robin's kit and not a universally good one. A good example of a universally good light cone would be someone like Zayle's light cone, Jing Yun's light cone. I believe Argenti's is also pretty standard use. Ratio has a excellent hunt light cone. I love Ratio's light cone so much. So many characters can just take advantage of it, right? But regardless, unfortunately, the 5-star light cones are not too crazy. So if you have a rather high pity, it is going to be rather unfortunate. But if you do have a low pity, like for me right now, I already have a bunch of DDDs, right? I think I have two S5s and one S4, right? So this is like whatever, even though I am summoning for her light cone, so I'll probably get some, right? But if you are low pity, like I think I'm one right now, and you are not immediately summoned for Trivy, and you have some Jades backed up, or you're not summoning on the next couple banners, you're saving for like anniversary, right? I highly recommend throwing a few multis on DDD. By the way, if you don't know what DDD does, right, because I haven't explained it yet, DDD, when you ult with a character, has to be a Harmony character, right? You will action advance yourself, right? And the whole team, right? I believe at max, let me go ahead. It started hailing, actually scared me for a second, I'm not gonna lie. Let me pull up DDD while I'm in game right now. You probably hear it in the background. Um, yeah, I have two S5s and one S4, right? DDD, this is S5. When the wearer uses their ultimate, all allies' actions are advanced by 24%. Now, a lot of support characters can actually spam their ults pretty frequently. Hanya gets it pretty quick. HMC is the main benefactor of DDD. You get their ult so quick, like actually insanely quick, and you can spam DDD over and over. This will allow you to get more actions in for a cycle and something like MOC. This will also allow you to get better scores in stuff like Apocalypse Shadow, because how Apocalypse Shadow works is if a character is acting and the next character is acting at 9, right? And 9, whatever you want to call it. I forgot the actual name for it, right? And like 9 actions, I guess. And then there's another character that are acting in 50. If you DDD, it'll be like 0 and probably like closer, like, I don't know. I don't know the math on it. Let's just say 10, right? That means you don't lose as many points going from the character who's 50, because you lose a good chunk of points because they're so far down the action. Even though they're right next to each other, the actual number for it is a lot higher. So it takes a lot more time, quote unquote, right? DDD helps with that, right? So DDD is really good for Apocalypse Shadow. It's good for Pure Fiction. It's good for MOC. All the endgame modes, which have you on a quote unquote time limit. I guess like a turn limit is more accurate for it. Huge light cone. This is like the Zero Cycler's dream most of the time, unless you just brute force it with like really strong DPSs, right? But DDD is so insanely strong. I'd say it's probably the best light cone in the game. Not exaggerating. It actually is that strong, right? You can use it on characters like I use it on Ting Yun. Like I said, I use it on Hanya. You can use it on Asta, she'll boost speed and action advance. HMC. I know some people have used it on Ruon Mei and Bronya. It just, if you're a Harmony character, most of the time you can slap it on and call it a day and you're good to go, right? It's such an insane valued light cone. So I recommend if you're to play, I'm not saying max it out, right? Because that would be a little unrealistic. Getting 2 copies would be the goal, right? So hopefully you only do 1 multi and you get it. But like I said, I highly recommend you grabbing DD. Is insanely strong. Now, whenever Pearls is on a light cone banner, I'll probably make another video like this. Like, hey, you should get a copy of Pearls. Lucky for this one, you could probably just make do with getting 1. The reason I say get 2 for DDD is because sometimes you'll have 2 harmonies on the same team and you can abuse them both using DDD, or you'll have one team with a DDD and the other team with a DDD. Most of the time with Pearls, I feel like Nihility characters are not used as often, so you can get away with having 1 Pearl for like your Pela or your Fugue or whoever it is, if you're running Silverwolf, whatever, right? You could just get away with running 1, right? But for DDD, I highly recommend getting 2. At least get 1, right? I know it's not going to be as strong as someone who has an S5, but having the option to action advance on your ult in general is just very strong. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, how many copies of DDD do you have? How often do you use it? Are you going to summon on this banner for DDD? Did this video convince you to try to get a copy? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We will have summons when the update drops. I'm going to go for Agla and her light cone. Hopefully, cross my fingers, I get a little lucky, because I'd rather not spend if I don't have to. But other than that, like I said, that'd be it for the video. Thanks for watching.